Welcome to Formula World. I'm your host Dylan Shelley, and here's what's on this episode. First up on Formula World, Alonso reveals the truth behind that picture. Even though Alonso is no longer associated with F1 in an active role, his name springs up quite often in F1 circles, and Alonso has asserted that a lot of the things said about his career are nothing more than lies. One of them happens to be this famous image which depicts his reaction after the last race in 2012, which took place in Brazil, where Vettel would come from behind to win the championship right out of Alonso's hands. Alonso looked quite forlorn, and many saw it as Alonso's raw reaction to just losing the title. Alonso, however, wants to make it clear that while the championship loss was a disappointment, his reactions were for a totally different reason. He defended himself quite vehemently by saying, "There are lies about my career that are not the truth. I got out of my car and I was looking at Felipe, who for some reason could not stop crying. He was with his mechanics and wife, so I was standing there waiting for him, seeing if he was okay. The story was that I was in shock or sad. No, I didn't care that much. I wanted to give Felipe a hug." He also doesn't have any bitterness towards Ferrari or the time he spent with them. "I know we didn't achieve the championship, but we fought and gave everything we had. We really worked very hard for every result, and life outside the car was great. It was a good time in my life, living in Maranello. It was emotionally intense. Being a Ferrari driver gives you a lot of satisfaction both in and out of the car. We just missed the championship by a couple of points as we hit Red Bull's dominating era." Hamilton's biggest threats. Four-time F1 world champion Alain Prost feels that currently Lewis Hamilton is the benchmark in F1, but feels that up-and-comers Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc are close behind him. The most complete driver right now is Hamilton, because he has experience and he is on a dedicated team. After, there are the likes of Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. They'll be the two biggest threats for Hamilton. He further elaborated what Verstappen needs to do to become the force that can finally dismantle Hamilton's dominance. It lacks a bit of serenity, a bit of calmness to ensure certain overtaking, but when he does and has a good car, he will be hard to beat. Money has never been a sticking point. A lot of F1 experts, including the folks at Mercedes, feel that Lewis Hamilton has only gotten better with age and he is still at his peak. They feel he is able to command a massive paycheck given his status, as Mercedes boss Toto Wolff explained. "You need to respect that a sporting superstar at the peak of his ability, at the peak of his career, has a limited lifespan where he is able to earn this kind of super money. We do respect that, and we respect the contribution that Lewis brings to Mercedes both on and off the track. Equally, Lewis has always respected that we are Mercedes and there are certain financial realities that are important to us." He further elaborated that money was never an issue in previous contract negotiations. "The money side has never been a sticking point. It was more about freedom and his projects. We need to look at what makes him perform best. We want the best guy on qualifying on Saturday and in the race on Sunday, and that will always be my main focus." Hamilton's next contract in F1 has been a hot topic among F1 pundits, and if Wolff is to be believed, then it seems like Hamilton's bank balance may be set to grow considerably in the near future. Fast feed. Lawrence Stroll wants the legendary car manufacturer Aston Martin to be established as one of the top teams in F1. Toto Wolff recently went to the China embassy for his biometric scan, which possibly means that the Chinese Grand Prix will go ahead as scheduled. Wolff also explained the delays in Hamilton's contract negotiations were due to the fact that everyone wanted to leave each other in peace during the winter breaks. Haas driver Romain Grosjean does not see a big difference between his generation of F1 drivers and the current younger generation on the grid. Liberty Media wanted to add gravel traps to the Sochi racetrack, but the track promoters rejected it as unacceptable, as they wanted to keep the track friendly to private and corporate clients. Dutch former F1 driver Robert Doornbos has claimed that Max Verstappen is the Messi of motorsport. And for the very first time, an F1 esports competitor will race in Formula 3 alongside the Formula 1 weekend, as Igor Fraga becomes a part of Caro's racing system during this year's FIA Formula 3 Championship. Can esport drivers successfully cross over into real-world racing? Be sure to vote in the poll and let me know what you think in the comments. And if you like this video, feel free to subscribe and check out my others for all the latest in the world of Formula 1.